The next topic in nucleic acid metabolism is translation. Okay. Before entering into the topic, first I would like to give brief discussion about transcription and translation. Okay. Here, transcription, we know that synthesis of RNA from DNA, it is known as transcription, right? In other words, we can say that the genetic information, GI, the genetic information which is present on DNA, it is passed onto the RNA through the transcription. Here, whatever genetic information present on RNA, it is expressed in the form of language of proteins. Okay, the genetic information present on RNA, it is expressed in the language of protein. That is known as translation, like that. Okay. Here you can see the definition of translation. The biosynthesis of protein or polypeptide in living cell is referred as translation. Biosynthesis of protein or polypeptide in living cell is referred as translation. Polypeptide nothing but, okay, here peptide bond is found between two amino acids. Okay, here polypeptide means many amino acids are known, many amino acids are present. Here proteins are nothing but polymers. That's why biosynthesis of protein or biosynthesis of polypeptide in living cell is known as translation. Here the term translation represents the biochemical translation of 4-letter language information from nucleic acid, that is DNA and RNA, to the 20-letter language of protein. Okay, biochemical translation of 4-letter language information to the 20-letter language of proteins. What is the meaning of this? Okay, here translation nothing but, okay, conversion of, means synthesis of proteins from RNA. Okay, in this indirectly DNA is involved. Okay, you can see 4-letter language means what are the 4-letter nucleotides present on DNA? Adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine. In RNA, adenine, guanine, cytosine, uracil as well. These 4-letter adenine, guanine, cytosine, uracil, these 4-letter language, these 4 nucleotides are converted to the 20-letter language of proteins. 20-letter means here how many amino acids are present in proteins? 20 amino acids. That is 20-letter language of proteins. Okay. Then the sequence of amino acids in the protein synthesizer is determined by the nucleotide base sequence of mRNA, that we know that. Okay, I am strongly recommending you that before watching this video, okay, you watch my previous video that is related to the genetic code. Then it will be easy to understand. Okay, the sequence of amino acid in the protein, okay, it is determined by the nucleotide base sequence present on mRNA. Okay, next, protein biosynthesis. Next, enter into the topic. Protein biosynthesis occur in 3 stages. Okay, occur in 3 stages. What are those? Requirement of components, activation of amino acids, protein synthesis proper. Requirement of components and activation of amino acid and protein synthesis proper. Let's see first one by one. Requirement of components. What are the components required for protein synthesis? Okay, first amino acids are required and ribosome is required, next component, and mRNA is required and tRNA is required, then some energy sources are required, then some protein factors are required. These are the requirements of the components for the translation. You can say first one by one. First one, amino acid. We know that without amino acid, how proteins will be synthesized? Okay, proteins are polymers of amino acid, that we know that. Okay, here out of 20 amino acid, we know that 10 amino acids are essential amino acid and remaining 10 are non-essential amino acid. We know that essential amino acid nothing but it cannot be synthesized in our body, so it should be taken through the diet only. Here non-essential means it can be synthesized by the body. Okay, here protein biosynthesis occur when all amino acids are available only. When all amino acids are available means including 10, okay, essential and non-essential. Okay, then only protein biosynthesis will be occur. If deficiency in dietary supply of any one of essential amino acid, okay, if any deficiency in dietary supply of any one of essential amino acid, translation will be stopped. Okay, if any deficiency in essential amino acid, okay, translation will be stopped. That's why it occurs when all the amino acids are available. So it is necessary to regular supply of essential amino acids in, okay, required amount. It is prerequisite for the protein biosynthesis. Regular supply of essential amino acid is prerequisite for protein biosynthesis. Okay, in prokaryote, no requirement of amino acid. Okay, because all the 20 amino acids are synthesized from the inorganic compounds in the prokaryote. In eukaryotes, we require amino acids. Okay, next component is ribosomes. We know that ribosomes are centers or factories for the protein biosynthesis. PBS means protein biosynthesis. Okay, this can also be considered as workbenches for translation. Workbenches for translation. Okay, here here in the prokaryotic 7ts ribosomes are there. In eukaryotic 8ts ribosomes are there. Okay, here each ribosome consists two subunits. How many? Two. One is big subunit, one is small subunit. For suppose 80s ribosome means it consists, okay, it consists 40s and 60s. 60s is the big and 40s is the small. Okay, likewise. Then the functional ribosome consists two sides. How many? Two sides. Remember, it is important point. Okay, one is A site and other is P site. Okay, A site and P site. Each site covers both the subunits. Each site covers both the subunits. Nothing but big and small subunits. Okay, A site, it is used for binding of amino acyl tRNA. A nothing but amino acyl tRNA. Okay, A site is nothing but amino acyl tRNA site. P site is for binding of peptidyl tRNA. Peptidyl. P nothing but peptidyl tRNA. Here some authors, A site also considered as acceptor site. P site also considered as donor site. Donor site. Okay, here A site and P site, here both the sites are present in prokaryotes. In eukaryotes, third site also there. Okay, that is E site. That is exit site. E nothing but exit. Okay, in eukaryotes, here A site, P site and E site will be there. In prokaryotes, only A site and P site will be there. Then polyribosome or polysome. It is used when several ribosomes simultaneously translate on single mRNA. Okay. Next component is mRNA. Okay, we know that codons on mRNA. We know that codons present on mRNA that decides which amino acids binds to the tRNA. The codon present on mRNA that decides to the which amino acid binds to the tRNA, and this codon decides the sequence of amino acids in proteins. Okay, this concept we already discussed in the genetic code. Okay, once you go through that video. And DNA, we know that DNA passes genetic information in the form of codons to mRNA. Okay, here from the DNA, mRNA will be synthesized. That is known as transcription. Means it passes genetic information in the form of codons to mRNA. Okay, to translate into protein sequences. To translate into protein sequences. Okay, next tRNA. Next component is tRNA. That is transfer tRNA, transfer RNA. They carry or they transfer amino acids to the growing peptide chain, growing polypeptide chain. Okay, here tRNA, we know that amino acid is covalently bound to the tRNA at 3' end. That we have seen in the structure of tRNA also. Once you go through that. Okay, here at the 3' end, amino acid is covalently bind, very strongly bind. Okay, each tRNA has 3 nucleotide base sequence, that is anticodon. tRNA has anticodon, that we know that, to the anticodon arm, which is responsible for the recognition of codon or complementary bases of mRNA for protein synthesis. The anticodon present on tRNA which recognize or which is responsible for the recognition of codon present on mRNA, that we have discussed in already. Okay, next component is energy sources. Both ATP and GTP require for supply of energy in protein synthesis. These two are required for the protein biosynthesis. Okay, protein factors. Here this is the important thing. Factors. For the process of translation, it involves number of protein factors. Okay, number of protein factors are involved in the translation process. Okay, these protein factors are needed for initiation and as well as elongation and as well as termination of protein biosynthesis process. Protein biosynthesis will occur in 3 stages only, means initiation, elongation, termination only. Here these factors are needed for these 3 processes. Okay, later we will see what are the protein factors. Next, activation of amino acid. Okay, this is about requirement of components. First category, first one. Okay, first stage. Second stage, activation of amino acid. Okay, the activation of amino acid nothing but formation of amino acyl tRNA. Amino acyl tRNA is the active form of amino acid here. Okay, here how it will form amino acyl tRNA you can see. Here first amino acids are activated and attached to the tRNA in 2 steps reaction. How many? 2. First activated, then attached to the tRNA. Activated and attached to the tRNA in how many reactions? 2 steps reactions. Okay, For this activation requires amino acyl tRNA synthetase enzyme. Which enzyme? Amino acyl tRNA synthase enzyme. It is highly specific for amino acid and corresponding to the tRNA. Let's see what are the two steps for the activation of amino acid. This is the amino acid. Okay, here this is amino acid tRNA synthetase enzyme, simply represented by E. Okay, closing E. Okay, here first the amino acid and AMP from ATP. Okay, AMP from ATP and the amino acid both will attach it to the enzyme. Both will attach it to this enzyme. You can see here this is E, nothing but enzyme only. Amino acid tRNA synthetase enzyme. Here AMP from ATP and amino acid both are attached to this enzyme. Okay, after AMP gone, ATP will be converted to pyrophosphate. Okay, here from this this amino acid transferred to the tRNA. This is tRNA. Okay, this enzyme transfers amino acid to the tRNA at 3' here at 3' end. Okay, you can see here that convert here this is the tRNA, this is the amino acid tRNA. What is the difference between these two? Here at 3' end we know that CCA sequence will be there. Here this AA means amino acid is attached, that is from enzyme. Okay, that's why amino acid tRNA. Then later enzyme will be liberated and AMP will be liberated. This is the two steps process. Okay, this is activation, and I told you that amino acid tRNA synthesis is highly specific for amino acid, means if it is alanine is there means okay respective synthetic enzyme will be there. Here it is okay, here valine is there means respective synthesis, that is specific to the amino acid and specific to the tRNA, like that. Okay, this is one step. Okay, for means attaching of AMP and amino acid to the enzyme, and the second step, okay, transferring of amino acid to the tRNA at 3' end. Okay, then amino acid tRNA will be produced, then enzyme and AMP will be liberated. Okay, this is about activation. Then third step, that involves protein synthesis proper. Okay, protein synthesis proper. Here protein synthesis will be occur. This is the important thing. Okay, it is divided into three stages. Divided into three stages. What are those? Initiation, elongation, termination. Initiation, elongation, termination. In this class, I will discuss about up to initiation only. Next class, I will explain about. In the next video, I will explain elongation and termination. Okay, you can see initiation. The first step in initiation of protein biosynthesis proper. Protein synthesis. Okay, initiation of translation in eukaryotic is complex. Okay, in eukaryotic is complex. It is involving at least 10 eukaryotic initiation factor. 10 eukaryotic initiation factor. I told you that in the requirement some protein factors are required, right? These protein factors are known as initiation factors, which are present in eukaryotics, right? So that's why eukaryotic initiation factors, simply represented E capital IFS, in eukaryotic initiation factors. Okay, important thing here, initiation is divided into 4 steps. Okay, initiation will be occurring 4 steps. First one, ribosomal dissociation. Next one, formation of 43S pre-initiation complex. Next one, formation of 48S initiation complex. Here pre-initiation, initiation, 43S, 48S. Then formation of 80S initiation complex. These 4. This is about initiation. I will explain by step. Okay, you can see what is the first step? Ribosomal dissociation, right? Here, this is the ATS ribosome. Okay, this is the ATS ribosome. Okay, here upper part is, this part is 60S and this part is 40S ribosome. This ribosome dissociate into 60S ribosome and 40S ribosome. What is the first step? Ribosomal dissociation. It dissociate to give 60S ribosome and 40S ribosome. Here, okay, after dissociating, then here this 3 and 1A, these are the eukaryotic initiating factor. You can remember eukaryotic initiating factor. I told you that 10 factors are involving, right? Here eukaryotic initiating factor 3 and eukaryotic initiating factor 1A. Okay, these two both bind to the 40S subunit. After separation, these two eukaryotic initiating factor bind to the 40S subunit. You can see here 3 and 1A factors bind to the 40S subunit. What is the function of these two means? Okay, it will make both available in separate form. Means okay, it doesn't allow to recombine of both 40S and 60S. Doesn't allow. Okay, that's why it is these two factors are known as anti-association factor. Anti-association factor. Anti-association means, okay, it doesn't allow the association of 40S and 60S. That's why anti-association factor. This is about first step, right? Ribosomal dissociation. What is the next step? Formation of 43S pre-initiation complex. Okay, complex. Here this is the 43S pre-initiation complex is formed from here, from the 40S subunit. Okay, you can see here ternary complex. Ternary complex. Okay, it is added to this 40S ribosome subunit. Okay, this ternary complex. It is added to the 40S 40S subunit. Then 43S pre-initiation complex will be formed. How? Ternary means nothing but 3. What are those? Here methionine is the one. Okay, here tRNA is the one. Then this is 2 in the triangle represented. This is 2. Okay, this is eukaryotic factor 2 combined with GTP. This dot, okay, this dot indicating GTP. Okay, eukaryotic factor 2 that combined with GTP. Okay, methionine tRNA, eukaryotic factor 2 and GTP. So overall 3 are there. Ternary complex. This ternary complex will add to this 40S subunit. So leads to formation of 43S pre-initiation complex. You can observe the difference between these two. Here this is the 40S subunit and 3 initiation factor 3, initiation factor 1 is there. Then what I am telling, okay, this factor is binding. Okay, this is eukaryotic factor 2, okay, with GTP, and this methionine tRNA. Okay, so 43S pre-initiation complex is formed. What is the next one? 48S initiation complex. From the 43S pre-initiation complex, here 48S initiation complex will be produced through the intermediate. This is the intermediate. How it will be formed? You can observe the difference between 43 to 48S initiation complex. You can see only this is mRNA. This is only mRNA. Only difference between these two is mRNA. Remaining all are there. So the addition of mRNA to 43 pre-initiation complex leads to the formation of 48S initiation complex through the intermediate component. This is the intermediate. Okay, addition of mRNA. Addition of mRNA, it is it is involving several reactions. What are those? You can see here. You can see here. Here, this is the eukaryotic initiating factor 4F. Eukaryotic initiating factor, that is 4F. It is formed by the formed by combination of 4G and 4A factors with 4E. Okay, here this 4G initiating factor and 4A factor will combine with 4E. Okay, 4E initiating factor only leads to formation of 4F. Leads to formation of 4F. Okay, here this is the mRNA. 5' to 3' direction. Here I am using the code that is, it is having the code that is AUG. Okay, we know that AUG is the initiation codon for synthesis of protein. Okay, it resembles amino acid, that is methionine. Okay, here this eukaryotic factor 4, okay, 4F factor will binds to the mRNA at cap position. Here you can see this mRNA, this 4F after forming 4F binds to this mRNA at cap position. This is the cap position. You can see this 4F is binded. So next what will happen? This 4A and eukaryotic factor, initiating factor 4A and eukaryotic initiating factor 4B binds to both of this mRNA. Okay, here 4A and 4B binds to both of this mRNA and this will be formed. This combined mRNA is transferred to the 43S pre-initiation complex. This overall is transferred to the 43S pre-initiation complex. While it is transferring, this 4A and 4B will be removed. You can see this is 4F, okay, and this is the mRNA. It doesn't this is formed by addition of this one, okay, but doesn't consist 4A and 4B. Okay, here this intermediate is formed by the addition of this one. Next what will happen? Okay, here the addition of mRNA requires ATP. You remember, I told you that energy sources are required ATP. Okay, then what will happen? From this 48 initiation complex is formed. What is the difference between these two? Only this 4F, eukaryotic initiation factor 4F, that is liberated. That is liberated from the intermediate. Then leads to formation of 48S initiation complex. Only difference between these two is this one only. this is liberated, and equality factor 3, equality factor 1A, equality factor 2 with GTP remain. Okay, it requires ATP, hydrolysis of ATP. Okay, 48 days initiation complex is formed. Third step completed. What is the final fourth step? Okay, formation of ATS initiation complex. Formation of ATS initiation complex, right? Here, observe. Okay, after forming 48S initiation complex, this 48S initiation complex will combine with, okay, combine with 68 subunit. Okay, it is combined with 68 subunit. That's why, okay, I have shown like this. Okay, that's why I have shown like this. Okay, this 48S initiation complex combined with 68 subunit. Okay, in the presence of eukaryotic factor 5. Eukaryotic factor 5 leads to formation of ATS initiation complex. Okay, here one important changes occurring in this formation. You see, this binding involves hydrolysis of GTP. Binding involves hydrolysis of GTP. Here GTP hydrolysis will undergo leads to formation of GDP and PA. And you need to identify that GTP that is attached to the eukaryotic factor, right? That is shown with this symbol. Okay, circle is filled. Okay, here GDP is okay, shown like this symbol, circle without okay, empty symbol, empty circle. You observe the GDP and GDP, okay, which is shown in this reaction. This is circle is filled, here the empty circle involves hydrolysis of GDP. You can see how hydrolysis, here GDP is there, this dot. Okay, from the eukaryotic here, then eukaryotic, this 3 and 1A are removed from the 48S initiation. This 1A and this eukaryotic factor 3 are removed. And I told you that hydrolysis of GDP means, okay, GDP and PA formed, right? You can see here eukaryotic factor consists GDP. This is this empty circle indicates GDP. Means one here GDP is there, here GDP is there. One phosphate is remaining, right? That one phosphate is liberated here. So this 3 eukaryotic factor 3, eukaryotic factor 1A and phosphate, one inorganic phosphate from GTP will be liberated in the formation of ATS initiation complex. So here whatever forming here, eukaryotic factor with GDP, this is GDP. This is eukaryotic factor 2 is inactive form. It is inactive form. To convert here eukaryotic factor, this is active form. It is inactive. Why it is inactive? It doesn't consist GDP. It consists only GDP. Whenever it is connected with GDP, that will be active. So again, it will be converted to the active form. It requires some reactions. Some steps are there. How you can see? Okay. This is inactive form. So conversion of inactive form of eukaryotic factor 2 requires eukaryotic factor 2B and GTP. Conversion of inactive form of this form to active form of eukaryotic factor, it requires eukaryotic factor, eukaryotic initiation factor 2B and as well as GTP. You can see here, here 2B is added to this inactive form. Then meanwhile, GTP undergoes hydrolysis will produce GDP. GDP, I represent this symbol, empty symbol and filled symbol, and one phosphate is remaining. GDP is converted to GDP, one phosphate is remaining. That one phosphate is added to this inactive form. You can see this 2B, eukaryotic factor 2B and eukaryotic factor GTP is forming. Here GDP is forming. After adding one phosphate from GTP, then GDP converted to GTP. You can see GDP. Okay. Then then from this eukaryotic factor 2B is released. Okay. Then finally converted to active form of eukaryotic active form. This is active form of eukaryotic initial factor 2 with GTP. So this methionine tRNA, this is consists methionine. Formation of ternary complex. It is formed by methionine tRNA with active form of eukaryotic factor. Means eukaryotic factor 2 with GTP and methionine tRNA both combine to produce ternary complex. Formation of ternary complex will require eukaryotic factor 2C. Here eukaryotic factor 2C is required. This is by this way ternary complex is formed. So it is regenerated. Eukaryotic factor 2 and methyl tRNA are regenerated like this way. This is about initiation of protein synthesis occurring by four steps. Then you can see here initiation will be regulated. Some factors are regulating the initiation. Okay, what are those? I told you that eukaryotic initiation factor is 4F. We know that this 4F is formed by combining of 4G, 4A with 4E. Okay, this complex controls the initiation. If initiation is controlled, nothing but protein synthesis will also be controlled. Then eukaryotic factor 4E. Okay, 4E, it is a component of ETF for eukaryotic initiation factor 4F. We know that. Okay, it is a component of 4F, eukaryotic initiation factor 4F. It is responsible for recognition of mRNA cap. They are responsible for recognition of mRNA cap. Means 4F is combining with combined with mRNA at cap position. Okay, which one is responsible? Because this 4E present on 4F is responsible for recognition of mRNA cap. Then eukaryotic factor 2 means it consists in GTP. I told you that, involved in the formation of 43S pre-initiation complex and also controls protein biosynthesis. You can see here eukaryotic factor 2, okay, involved in 43S pre-initiation complex, and this 4F also controls initiation, and this 4F also controls, and 4E also controls. This is about initiation. In my next video I will explain about elongation and termination. Okay, this is very simple. Elongation and termination is very simple as compared to initiation. Okay, thank you very much.